Hello everyone. This is going to be a video tutorial that covers creating a title block template for assignment number 1, the AutoCAD skill assessment. Before completing this first portion, it's highly recommended, especially if you have no previous AutoCAD experience, or really even if you do, that you do go first and watch the AutoCAD 2017 Essential Training by Sean Bryant. You can go to that again by clicking on the link. When you click on the link here, it'll jump you to the A&T Linda kind of landing page. You click on login and you put in your same credential as you would to log in to anything else. Once you do that, you'll enter this screen here, thelynda.com. And again, there's several. What's really cool about this is if you have any interest really in anything else, these video tutorials are free for you right now. The ones that we're focusing on for this course are going to be the AutoCAD 2017 Essential Training, the Photoshop CC 2017 Essential Training, and then the SketchUp 2016 Essential Training. So watch these first before completing the AutoCAD, rather before completing the exercise. It'll give you a much better understanding of the tools, and for people who do have experience with the software, it'll probably teach you some things you didn't know, and I know it taught me some things that I wasn't familiar with. Okay, with that being said, we'll go ahead and start the title block template creation. I've provided an example PDF of what a template could look like or should look like. Really all we're going to do here is really recreate the title block on this section so that we have something we can start from, so we don't have to do it every time we begin a project. It'll just be waiting for us. Okay, so in order to do that, let me minimize this. I'm going to go into AutoCAD. And in this way you can begin to build your own templates too. We're not going to worry so much about text in this particular video and leaders. We're just going to pretty much set up the title blocks. But in this way, in the same process, you can begin to create templates for yourself, which is also covered in the videos. Okay, so I'm in my AutoCAD space, and what I want to do is go into to my layout. And the first thing I'm going to do is right click, and I'm going to go Page Setup Manager. I'm going to modify, and I'm going to go DWG to PDF and plot styles. I'll start a new one. Plot styles I don't believe were covered in the introduction piece, but this basically forces lines to print to a particular color and thickness. We're going to do this from scratch. What we're going to use them for in this case is to tell AutoCAD that everything that's in color we still want to print black. So I'm going to say start from scratch, and I'm saying next, and I'm going to say everything print black. Okay, say next. I'm going to click on the plot style table editor. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard and select the color 255, which is selecting all the colors subsequently. I'm going to go over to Properties where it says Color, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to select Black. And then I'm going to say Save and Close, and I'm going to say Finish. Alright, that's going to make everything, and then also I want to say display plot styles rather, and that's going to make everything print, all the color lines print black. And by displaying plot styles, when we see our drawing in paper space, we'll see it as black lines as opposed to seeing it with the color lines as it is in model space. Okay. Also want to plot transparency in case you do that subsequently. It'll allow you to actually see it. If you don't have plot transparency, anything that you reduce the opacity on will still print solid. So we'll go ahead and select that as well. Next, I want to go to 24 by 36 inch. I'm going to use the expanded ARC Expand D 24 inch by 36 inch. And I'm going to do the first one, landscape. That's fine. Say OK. So now I have the actual paper size that I need, the 24 inch by 36 inch. So one of the parameters have been met. This is my viewport, as you can see, and I can kind of take and stretch this thing out. Let me jump back into model space and turn off. I don't like that grid. It bothers me. turn off here too. Okay. All right. And I'm just using some shortcuts to kind of go in between model space and paper space. But this is my viewport. Now I'm going to kind of, the gray dashed line is the cut line, so I don't want to quite get to that. And I'm going to give myself some space to allow me to build a title block on the right hand side here. Okay. Now before I get going, let me create some layers. So I'm going to create a layer. I'm going to call this title block. Okay. And let me create a layer 2 and just call this viewport. And pull this over a little bit so that we can see. Or actually, let me pull my properties below that. Expand this a little bit. And then make my viewports just, it shouldn't matter here, but there, put it on viewports actually. Okay. And title block. I'm gonna put myself on the title block layer now. Okay. So I have my kind of my general layout, and what I want to do is again add all the content that we basically saw, the majority of it. I'm not going to add, I think, one of the pieces of information, but everything that you see on this side here, let me minimize this a little bit. Everything you see on this side here, we're basically going to replicate in AutoCAD, so we have a template for it. So we'll start off with the sheet name, which is we call it LA for landscape architecture, with the sheet number. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here, and what I'm gonna type in is a shortcut, and you can use your ribbon. If you're watching the video, they use a lot of the GUIs, the graphical user interfaces. People who have been using AutoCAD for a while tend to use, from my experience at least, tend to use more of the keyboard shortcuts. It comes a lot faster. You'll pick those things up as you use AutoCAD and any software more and more. You'll pick up some of those shortcuts, but if you feel more comfortable using the GUIs, the graphical user interfaces, as opposed to using shortcuts, that's fine. For the sake of speed and getting through this, I'm going to use my shortcuts probably the majority of the time, and I'm capturing my keyboard strokes so you can see what those are. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is do a multi-line text. I'm going to do M text, enter, and I'm just going to kind of click over here and drag out. Okay. And I think I want to make that 0.15. I think it's the right size. Or we can scale this or change it after we're done typing. So I know I wanted to call it LA, and then I wanted a space and then call it your sheet number, basically. Okay, that's tiny, so let me click here and kind of bring this down some, and what I'm going to do is type M for move, and I'm going to just kind of move this and position it. It's tiny right now, so I'm going to kind of come into it and just that's a little bit too big. Let me point like 0.3, 0.6. That's looking decent. Just kind of playing with the text sizes to kind of get it correct and positioning it to try to get it correct. Okay, there it is. And I noticed in the other one I want to create some kind of hierarchy here, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I may make that like a 0.4, and then just highlight everything to make sure it's centered, and I believe centered is there. Okay, there you go. When to be really precise, you can kind of grab this and just kind of pop it there. Okay, so that's the first part that we have done. Let me go back and check out what we have. The next thing that I have is going to be the actual title and then the title location, and you can also go back and reference the actual assignment too. So we have the sheet, the project title, project number, sheet title, sheet note. So this is what we're kind of knocking out. So next thing we're going to do is the project title. As part of that, as part of the project title, we're also going to have the address. So we'll put that in. Okay, so same thing, in text. Grab this thing out now, and I'm just going to say that this is going to be generically I'm going to use capital X. It's going to be the project title. and then project address. Okay, and let me make that maybe a 3. It's probably way too big. Let me stretch this out. Give it some breadth. Maybe that's like a 0.8 or so. That's too. Maybe it's like a 0.3. It's too small. 0.6. Maybe this is a little bit smaller too. Maybe this is like a 0.8. Oops. Oops. And then maybe this is a 0.5. Okay. And again, the purpose of doing this might take a little. Then what I'm gonna do is rotate this RO, click on it, and I'm gonna hit F8 so that I can go to ortho, or just click ortho here. And my rotate's not working. There's my ortho. Okay. So put your ortho on so you can kind of snap up. And then I'm just moving this back over, and let me turn my ortho off. And just kind of positioning this. Okay, that seems a little bit big to me still, so I'm just going to scale it out a little bit. I'm using the scale command and just clicking a point and dragging out just to size it, make it look a little bit better to me. Okay. And you can pick your own font. I'm using, I guess, Arial here. I don't pick something that has a lot of flourishes. It's really fancy that makes it difficult to read. But you can select your own font for this, for these templates. Okay. What else do I need? Let me do my drawn by and sheet name then. Okay. And what I'm going to do for this is, I'll just do the in-text thing again so we can repeat the process. And so this is going to be the sheet name. And what was it? And drawn by. Drawn by was first. And this is just going to be your initials. So give it a space. Sheet name, this will be whatever the name of the sheet's going to be. And then I'll just come in here and make these bold. Okay, and then I'm going to do a RO again and put my ortho back on and just rotate it up. Just take ortho off now and just kind of move these things in. Boom. And I'm going to give this some room because sometimes your title might be a little bit longer, so just bring that in, give it a little bit of room. And so we can kind of visualize that room. I'm going to use some spacers here too. I'm going to put my ortho back on. I'm still onto the title block layer. I'm just going to draw some lines here. Then I'm going to offset that just to give it some room. And let me make this bold as well. When I'm looking at that, maybe it does still get even a little bit smaller than that. Maybe it's like that. If that's like that, then maybe this can get a little bit smaller too. I'm just kind of playing these things, playing with scale, just to make them look like they have some nice hierarchy and give it some space and room. Okay. So the drawn by, what else do we need? Project number. I'm not going to do project manager for this one, but project number is an important component to have. Come back here. And I'm just going to copy these now because I want to keep it the same. My ortho's on, so when I copy it, it keeps it nice and straight for me. I'm just going to come up here and call this project number. And then I'll just put the number sign there so we know. I'll get rid of that. Boom. Offset through. We can just offset. Oops. We'll offset that. Okay. And then offset this again. That's right there. And issue date and scale. Come on, this is going pretty quickly. So copy this again. Come up here. And issue date, scale. And maybe we say boom, 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 boom. And whatever the scale is going to be. We do 4 there. Okay. And then the last thing would just to be the offset. To add kind of your own little designed logo. Just to have something there that kind of makes it you. And this is very simple. But again, it's effective and it allows you to focus more on your design rather than having to create these kind of redundant components. And this is also a title block for a construction document. This is not something that you would typically use or see for an exhibit or board. Board presentations are different and more stylized. This is more of a construction document style title block that you would use for creating construction documents. Okay, so the last thing is going to be kind of this logo. Well, we have the north arrow and a graphic scale as well, but let me tackle this logo on this side. So for the logo, I'm just going to do an M-text and kind of grab this out, and I'm just going to do W and maybe make that like a 0.3. Make it like a 0.5. Make it like a 0.8. Make it a 1. Make it a 2 to the 3. About 2.5. Okay. Let me see if I can explode this. No. Okay. Now the thing about, I'm going to use this as kind of just the basic, I'm going to call it, scale it a little bit, just so it fits in there. And kind of move it, put myself off ortho, kind of center it there. And I'm going to do another M-text. Just grab this here, and I'm going to call this, I don't know, incorporated, and then landscape architecture. How about we do that? INC. There you go. And I'll just pull it over. Boom. Now you have an instant company. What I'll do is just make that a little bit smaller. Then we just pull it all down just to kind of, bam. Okay. So there goes something for you. Then we had a, for instance, if we were doing, I don't know, Muddy Creek or whatever, you would just come in basically. There you go. Now in instances where you would have that happen, then what I would do is modify it. Just make it smaller. It's like a 0.5 something there. Maybe it's like a 0.3. 0.4, and that will work too. And maybe we keep it like that. It's always good to do little tests like that. So maybe we make this 0.43. Okay, there we go. to get a little bit smaller too. I'll make it like a 0.28. Okay. We'll make sure that this also sits in, oops, there you go. Make sure that it sits in that position. There we go. Okay. There you have it. So now you have a title block, and we have to do the north arrow now. So let me go back and just modify this and just say project name. Project name. So what I'm going to do now is just save my progress. So I'm going to go File, Control S. I'm going to put this on my desktop for now. And I'm going to say this is just the 24 by 36 template. Template, and I'm going to put my name first. Okay, and then save. All right, so I kind of have that going on. So now the only things that I'm lacking now are my north arrow and then my graphic scale. So easy to do. I'm going to make those here instead of putting them in. You could grab an image, but we're going to make them just as easy. So I'm just going to hit C for circle and just kind of come out and stretch it out. Looks like an appropriate size to me. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to do a mirror. And trim this out. I'm going to use the hatch command now. And I'm going to pick points and do a solid hatch. And there you go, really quick, easy north arrow. And then just so people know that that's actually a north arrow, maybe I grab one of the text pieces over and just put an N right there. Delete that. And maybe I kind of scale this out. Take off that, and put a little N right there. Alright, so it goes a north arrow. And then the last thing is going to be the graphic scale. Now the graphic scale, I am just going to make these, basically 1/2 inch to 1 inch bars. And I'm going to put blank increments because the scale might change. I don't know what the scale is going to be. We're just creating a 24 by 36 inch template, but the scale is going to change for each drawing that you have. So I'll allow you to change. So you want to allow yourself to the flexibility to be able to update that. So, and that all makes sense as we draw this. So let me draw. So I'm going to begin pulling this thing out, and I'm going to come out to, what did I say, 0.5. Okay. And then my width ended up being what? It's kind of eyeballing this is 0.0969, so close to 0.1. And what I'm going to do is that's going to represent a 1/2 inch marker basically. And I'm going to grab that and just put that there. And then do that one more time. Oops. Just move these. There. Okay. And then I'm going to have one where I'm just going to copy this down and do one that's a whole. Okay. And then maybe, why not? Let's just do one more whole one. Okay. So now that I have this, what I want to do is start filling these things in. Oops, cancel, not a block, but I want to use hatch. And just going to hatch these. Boom. So now you have a graphic scale. I'm just going to move them. Okay. So they're kind of near one another. And what I want to do now is in text. come out here. I'm going to say this is going to be 0 feet. And it looks a little big, so let me just double click on this, Control A. So maybe that's a 0.1. Maybe that's a little small. So maybe that's 0.15. Maybe 2 was just right. Okay. And then let me copy that. I'm going to put on my my ortho and just copy these over. And depending on your scale, you just update them. So if it was 1 inch equals 10 feet, then that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 40, 40 feet. So you just update the markers depending on whatever scale that you're using. All right, so I'll just save that again. So the assignment asked for you to, I'm just gonna make sure that I fulfilled all the requirements too here. I didn't put sheet notes in or remove that. When you see the assignment, sheet notes won't be there, but that's something else that you can actually add to your sheets as well, but you can put that on the face of the sheet, so don't worry about that. Orthographic scale, date drawn by, company name. Company name is implied in the logo, don't worry about that. I kind of put that there. And that's it, so we're good. But it also asks for a portrait and landscape. So right now we have a landscape. Let's go ahead and do the portrait. So I'm going to update this too. I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call this 24 by 36 landscape. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to say move or copy. And I'm going to say create copy and move to the end. This other layout, I'm just going to delete this one. I don't need it. So this one's going to be, I'm going to rename this one, and this is going to be portrait. Okay. And I'm going to go page manager. I'm going to say modify. And I'm going to go to portrait. Say okay. Boom. And I'm going to just modify the viewport. Alright, give myself some air. And what I want to do is just kind of move and see if I can't finagle this thing to make it work. So I'm going to grab this. What I'm going to do is rotate. And I'm on ortho right now, so it's going to have a nice orthogonal snap to a 90 degree. Bring that down so I know it's going to be perfectly straight. And I'll bring this down there. Oh, looks good to me. I'll bring it here. Now you might want to rotate some of these things now since you have it in this style. Maybe you you rotate this now. And let me take that off. Take that off. So maybe I'm here. And then maybe this rotates as well. This will not. And then maybe this is just kind of here now. And now you have a portrait style as well, just that easy. And again, you can update these fonts, but this is the basic information that you should have. If you have any questions, you can find me in person or send me an email. But this concludes the first portion of the AutoCAD Skills Assessment. Now, once you have these things done digitally, before I conclude this thing, let me print these off. So what I want to do is then Control P. And I'm going to say okay. Put this on my desktop, and this is going to be the landscape, and that's fine. It's a long name, that's okay. And it's going to kick it out as a PDF, and you see everything is how we planned it to be. I'll close that out, and I'll go here, and I'll print the other one out, Control P. The same way, same place, boom, those both kick out. And there you have it. So now you have both layouts done. I'll save this one more time and I'll close it out. Now we can use this for other projects. All right, so once you have that done, in order to submit this, that piece is going to be part of the base map and elevation that you'll combine into a single PDF that you'll submit to Blackboard to be graded. All right. So again, if you have any questions, just send me an email or catch me in studio, and I'll be happy to help you.